All right, buckle up, folks, because we're diving headfirst into a match that's got fireworks written all over it. Manchester United versus Rangers. It's a clash of titans, a Battle of Britain showdown in the Europa League. But something tells me this time it could be different.
You hit the nail on the head with different interswintive. The mind games are already in full swing. Manchester United's own manager, Ruben Amorim, is out there calling his team the worst team maybe in the history of Manchester United. And you've got Rangers on the other side strutting in with a 7-game unbeaten streak. Talk about a clash of mentalities.
Oh, yeah. Slow down a second, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. This match is happening January 23rd at Old Trafford, right? And it's a big deal because both these teams are fighting tooth and nail for a spot in the knockout stages of the Europa League.
You got it. And the pressure is on, especially for Manchester United. They're clinging to a 1-point lead over Rangers in the league phase standings. But their recent form, let's just say it's not exactly inspiring. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 home games. Not exactly what you'd expect from a club of their stature.
Yeah, it's like they've developed a sudden allergy to their own home turf. Meanwhile, you've got Rangers marching into Old Trafford like they own the place, scoring goals for fun, looking like they could take on the world.
It's a complete reversal of fortune. Manchester United seems to be in free fall, while Rangers are riding a wave of momentum. And this psychological battle, oh man, it gets even more interesting when you consider the historical context of this match.
Right, the Battle of Britain angle. This isn't just about 2 football clubs going head-to-head. It's about England versus Scotland playing out on the European stage. I got a whole stack of articles here that delve into the history of these clashes.
Well, get ready for a history lesson because this rivalry goes way back. We're talking centuries of intertwined history, cultural clashes, and enough sporting drama to fill a library. This Europa League match is just the latest chapter in that epic saga.
So we're talking battles on the pitch that echo battles fought off the pitch. Political tensions, national pride, all simmering beneath the surface.
Absolutely, and it injects a level of intensity you just don't see in your average football match. Every tackle, every goal, it's all amplified by that historical weight. It's almost Shakespearean, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Makes you wonder how much of that historical baggage these players actually carry onto the pitch with them.
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, you can't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of that national pride seeps into their subconscious. They're not just representing their clubs, they're representing their countries.
So we've got a Manchester United team that's struggling, facing a confident Rangers squad, all within this pressure cooker of historical rivalry. And then you throw Amorim's worst team, quote, into the mix. Is he playing mind games, trying to motivate his players? Or is he genuinely concerned?
That's the big question, isn't it? You could argue he's trying to deflect the pressure, take the heat off his players, but he's the manager of Manchester United. He's not exactly known for making outrageous statements for the sake of it.
He doesn't strike me as the type to exaggerate, you know? I mean, calling your own team the worst in the club's history, that's a bold move. It's either a stroke of genius or a complete meltdown.
Exactly. And we won't know for sure until we see how Manchester United performs on the pitch. If they come out flat and lifeless, then maybe Amorim's quote was more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if they use it as fuel, channel that frustration into a dominant performance, well, then maybe he's a tactical mastermind after all.
Okay, so we've got the psychological warfare, the historical backdrop, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do these teams actually match up on the pitch?
Well, on paper, Manchester United still has a formidable squad, even with their injuries. However, their recent performances, especially at home, suggest they're struggling to find their groove.
And we can't forget about Rangers' attacking firepower. I mean, they've been scoring goals for fun in the Europa League. Every single match, they've found the back of the net.
It's hard to ignore their attacking trio. H. Igamain, V. Cerny, and Rabbi Matondo have been causing havoc for defenses. They're a constant threat.
But the question is, can they crack Manchester United's defense? Even with their injury woes, Manchester United still has experience at the back.
True, but that defense has looked shaky lately, especially at home. They've conceded goals in all but one of their last 5 home games, and with Luke Shaw out injured, their left side looks particularly vulnerable.
Wait a minute. Manchester United has never conceded a goal to Rangers in their 4 previous meetings. That seems almost impossible, especially with how well Rangers are playing right now.
I know, right? It's a mind-boggling stat. It speaks volumes about Manchester United's historical dominance, but it also highlights just how much things have changed. This Rangers team is a completely different beast. They're hungry, they're confident, and they're not intimidated by big names or past results.
Yeah, the old saying, past performance is not indicative of future results, definitely applies here. This isn't your grandpa's Rangers team. They're a force to be reckoned with.
And don't forget their captain, James Tavernier. He's the heart and soul of this Rangers team, a leader on and off the pitch. And he's got a knack for scoring crucial goals, especially from set pieces.
Just the thought of facing Tavernier on a free kick is giving me chills. Any one of his spare goalie I could borrow.
He's a defender's worst nightmare. On the other hand, Rangers have their own injury concerns. They'll be without several key players, including Jack Butland, John Sutar, Danilo, Giannis Hagi, and Mohamed Diamande.
So both teams are dealing with their fair share of injuries, huh? That just adds another layer of unpredictability to this match. But you know what they say, next man up. These absences could give some younger players a chance to shine.
That's right. Sometimes adversity creates opportunity. It'll be interesting to see how both teams adapt and overcome these challenges.
This leads us to a crucial question. How will these injuries, combined with the psychological pressure and the weight of history, actually play out on the pitch?
Well, for starters, Manchester United's defensive vulnerabilities are a gift to Rangers' attack. With Tavernier leading the charge, you can bet they'll be looking to exploit every weakness.
But Manchester United still has a lot of attacking talent, even without Rashford. Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial can create magic when they're on form. And who knows, maybe Amorim's worst team comment will light a fire under them.
We're definitely in for a tactical chess match, but the psychological game might be even more fascinating. You've got a wounded lion in Manchester United, backed into a corner and desperate to prove themselves. And you've got a young, hungry wolf pack in Rangers, smelling blood and ready to make history. Who comes out on top? That's the question.
It's a clash of styles, too, you know. Manchester United under Amorim, they like to possess the ball, build up slowly.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to lull the opponent to sleep.
It can be addictive, but sometimes, I don't know, it feels like watching paint dry. Especially when they're struggling to create those clear-cut chances. You mentioned Rangers are more, direct? Oh, absolutely. They're like a swarm of bees, pressing high, winning the ball back quickly, and then bam! They hit you with a lightning-fast counterattack before you even know what hit you.
So we've got chess masters versus pack of wolves, historical rivals with scores to settle, all while this psychological thriller is playing out on the sidelines. You couldn't write this stuff.
And don't forget about the fans. The Battle of Britain always brings out a different kind of energy in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
It's passionate, it's tribal, it's almost like stepping back in time.
I can only imagine the atmosphere at Old Trafford, the roar of the crowd, the chants echoing through the stadium, the tension. You could cut it with a knife.
It's going to be electric. But let's throw another log on this fire. Remember that both teams to score prediction from Sporty Trader? Well, that came from an algorithm.
Wait, seriously? So we're not just dealing with human drama and historical baggage. Now robots are getting in on the action, too.
It's true. Algorithmic predictions are becoming increasingly popular in sports analysis these days. They can crunch massive amounts of data, looking for patterns and trends that humans might miss.
So it's like Moneyball, but for football. Finding those hidden advantages.
Exactly. But the question is, how much can we trust these algorithms, you know? Are they truly objective or just a fancy way of guessing?
That's a good point. Can an algorithm really capture the unpredictable nature of human behavior? The psychological factors, the momentum shifts, the individual brilliance, those things that can completely change the game.
It's a debate that's dividing the world of sports analytics. Some believe algorithms are the future, predicting outcomes with, pinpoint accuracy. Others argue that the human element, that gut feeling and experience, will always be crucial.
It's almost philosophical, isn't it? The battle between man and machine playing out even in the world of football.
It really is. Makes you wonder if we're headed towards a future where algorithms dictate everything, from starting lineups to in-game tactics.
I don't know about that. Part of what makes sports so compelling is the unpredictability. The human drama that unfolds on the field. You can't just reduce that to a set of numbers.
You're right. But even if algorithms can't predict everything, they can still give us valuable insights, right? They can help us understand the game at a deeper level, identify trends, maybe even spot hidden weaknesses or strengths in a team.
Right. So it's not about replacing human analysis. It's about using algorithms as a tool alongside our own knowledge and intuition to get a more complete picture.
Exactly. And it's just one example of how technology is changing how we experience sports. Think about all the ways you can engage with this match, even if you're not at Old Trafford. Live TV, online streams, live blogs, real-time updates on social media. It's amazing.
It really is. You can be on the other side of the world and still feel like you're right there in the action, sharing that experience with millions of other fans.
Like we're all part of one giant global tribe, united by our love of the beautiful game.
Speaking of tribes, let's get back to that Battle of Britain narrative. We touched on the historical context earlier, but I'm curious, how do those past clashes between English and Scottish teams inform our understanding of this particular match?
Well, it's important to remember that these matches are always more than just football. They're symbolic battles. A chance for each nation to assert its dominance, you know?
So it's almost like a proxy war, a way to settle those old scores and national rivalry.
You could say that, but it's also a celebration of shared history and cultural ties.
Right.
There's mutual respect there, a recognition that despite the rivalry, these two nations are forever intertwined.
It's a complicated relationship, that's for sure. But it makes these matches so much more intense, so much more meaningful.
Absolutely. And when you look back at some of the historical clashes between English and Scottish clubs in European competition, you see that same passion, that same intensity playing out on the pitch.
I'm thinking about Rangers' famous victory over Leeds United in the Champions League qualifiers back in '92. That must have been an incredible moment for their fans.
It was a monumental upset. Leeds United was the reigning English champion at the time, and Rangers were considered massive underdogs. But they played with such heart, such determination, and they pulled off a historic victory.
It's a reminder that in football, anything is possible, especially in these Battle of Britain matches. Form goes out the window, history fades into the background. It all comes down to who wants it more on that day.
And who can handle the pressure. Remember, Manchester United haven't lost to Rangers in their 4 previous encounters. That's a psychological hurdle that Rangers need to overcome.
But Rangers have only won one of their last 8 matches against English opposition in European competition. History isn't exactly on their side either.
It's a double-edged sword, right? Past victories can inspire confidence, but they can also weigh you down, create a sense of expectation that can be difficult to live up to.
It's all about finding that balance. Respecting the history, but also embracing the present moment.
Exactly. For Rangers, this match is a chance to write their own history, to prove they're not intimidated by the past and ready to compete with the best in Europe.
All right, so let's shift gears a bit and dive into the tactical side of this match. How do you see these two teams approaching the game, given their different styles and personnel?
I think Manchester United will try to control possession, dictate the tempo, and use their experience to frustrate Rangers. You know, draw them out and then hit them on the counterattack.
Classic Amorim. Patience, discipline, waiting for that perfect moment to strike.
Yeah.
But can their defense, especially with all those injuries, handle Rangers' high-pressing, quick transition style?
That's the big question. If Rangers can disrupt Manchester United's build-up play, force them into errors, then they'll have a real chance. But they also need to be wary of Manchester United's counter-attacking threat.
It's a battle of attrition, a chess match where every move could be decisive.
And it's going to be fascinating to see how both managers adapt their tactics throughout the game. Will Amorim stick to his possession-based approach, or will he have to adjust? Will Rangers manager Michael Beale press high from the start, or will he sit back and absorb the pressure, waiting for the right moment to unleash his attackers?
It's all about reading the game, making those split-second decisions, and exploiting any weakness you see in your opponent.
And we can't forget about the individual battles that will be happening all over the pitch.
Oh, come on now. You know I love those. Give me some of the juicy matchups to watch out for.
Well, for one, keep an eye on the flanks. Rangers' Ryan Kent versus Manchester United's Diogo Dalot. Kent is lightning fast, a real threat in one-on-one situations. Dalot is a solid defender, but he can be vulnerable against pace.
That could be a key battleground. Whoever wins that duel could really swing the momentum of the match.
And then in the midfield, you've got Rangers' Glenn Kamara up against Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes. Kamara is a tough tackler, a ball winner. Fernandes is the creative hub for Manchester United, their main playmaker.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a clash of styles right in the heart of the pitch. A real battle for control. Can Kamara shut down Fernandes and stifle Manchester United's attack? Or will Fernandes find a way to unlock Rangers' defense with his vision and passing?
It's going to be a tactical battle for sure. And, of course, we can't forget about those goals.
The main course. I have a feeling this match is going to be a goal fest.
I wouldn't bet against it. Both teams have a knack for finding the back of the net.
They do.
And with so much attacking talent on both sides, we could be in for a real treat.
For sure.
I'm already picturing a back-and-forth thriller, both teams treating blows like heavyweights.
I could see that happening. But it's important to remember that goals aren't the only thing that matters in football.
True, but they're certainly the most exciting part.
You got that right. But beyond the goals, beyond the individual brilliance, there's a deeper story unfolding in this match.
Ooh, intriguing. Tell me more.
Well, I'm thinking about the bigger picture. What are the implications of this match for both teams? For their managers? For their fans?
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. What's really at stake here?
For Manchester United, a win would be a huge boost to their confidence.
Yeah.
A sign that they're still a team to be feared.
It would silence those critics, at least for a little while, and it would keep their hopes of qualifying for the knockout stages alive.
Exactly, but a loss. That would be devastating, both for their morale and their chances of advancing in the tournament.
It would pour gasoline on that fire, make Amorim's worst team comment look like it was true all along. And the pressure on him to turn things around. Immense.
Now, for Rangers, a win would be a real statement of intent, a sign that they're ready to challenge for major titles.
It would be historic for them, their first ever victory over Manchester United in a competitive match.
And it would send a message to the rest of Europe that they're not just some plucky underdog, but a legitimate contender.
But a loss. Even though it would be disappointing, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? They're still in a good position to qualify, and they've already exceeded expectations.
That's true, but they'll be hungry to prove they belong at this level, that they can go toe-to-toe with the best.
So for Manchester United, it's almost a must-win. For Rangers, it's a chance to make history.
And for the fans, well, it's a chance to witness a clash of titans, a battle for pride and prestige, a match that will be etched in the history books.
It's a match that has it all, right? The drama, the passion, the historical significance, and, oh yeah, the potential for a ton of goals. What more could you ask for?
I'm already on the edge of my seat. But before we get too carried away, there's one crucial aspect we haven't touched on yet.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are we missing?
We've talked about the tactics, the psychology, the history, but we haven't talked about that one thing that can change the course of a match in an instant.
You're talking about luck, aren't you?
Exactly. The bounce of the ball, a referee's decision, a moment of individual brilliance, a slip, a stumble, a missed opportunity, all of these factors, these seemingly random events, they can have a huge impact on the outcome.
It's like the butterfly effect, isn't it? One small event, something you wouldn't even think twice about, can set off a chain reaction that leads to a completely different outcome.
You got it. And that's why, despite all our analysis, all our predictions, we can never truly know what will happen.
That's what makes football so unpredictable, so captivating, so frustrating, and so glorious all at the same time.
Couldn't have said it better myself. No matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we analyze, there's always that element of mystery, that element of chance that keeps us coming back for more.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. The historical rivalry, the psychological battle, the tactical chess match, the potential for goals, and even the role of luck. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
All right, lay it on me.
We've talked about Manchester United's struggles at home, Rangers' potent attack, and the historical dominance of Manchester United in this fixture. But given all that, could we actually be in for a major upset at Old Trafford?
That's a good one. I mean, Manchester United hasn't exactly been a fortress at home lately. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 at Old Trafford. That's not a good sign.
Not at all. And Rangers have shown they can take advantage of those vulnerabilities. Their attacking prowess has been on full display in this Europa League campaign. Plus, they're coming into this match with nothing to lose.
Exactly. The pressure is all on Manchester United. They're the ones expected to win. And that kind of pressure can be crippling, especially when you're not playing with confidence.
Think about it. You've got Manchester United already reeling from Amorim's worst team comment. Their fans are getting restless, the media is circling like sharks, and now they're facing a Rangers team that's full of confidence and playing some of the most exciting football in Europe.
It's a recipe for disaster for Manchester United, and a golden opportunity for Rangers. And let's not forget, Rangers have already pulled off some big upsets in European competition. Their victory over Leeds United back in '92 shows they're capable of slaying giants.
It would be a massive shock, no doubt about it. But as we've seen so many times in this sport, anything is possible.
That's why we love football, right? It's unpredictable. It's full of surprises.
So as you're watching this match, keep that question in the back of your mind. Could this be the night that Rangers take down the giant at Old Trafford?
It's a tantalizing prospect, one that will keep us all glued to our seats until the final whistle.
Well, folks, there you have it. We've broken down the form, the history, the team news, the predictions, and the potential for an upset. We've left no stone unturned in preparing you for this epic clash between Manchester United and Rangers. Now it's up to you to decide who you think will come out on top. Will history repeat itself, or will we witness a changing of the guard?
Enjoy the match, everyone, and make the best team win.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.